What's going on, guys, and welcome to my Descendant build series for the First Descendant. Today we're going over my builds for Ajax.
Let me tell you how I managed to come back from the bullet.
Now, Ajax is truly a force to be reckoned with. Not only is he an absolute beast of a tank, he can also dish out some really good damage. I guess it just goes to show that us old veterans can still get shit done when we need to. That's right, buddy. He is a non-attribute descendant that uses the power of the void channeled through his special suit of armor to decimate his enemies and defend his allies. His passive ability is called Event Horizon. This allows Ajax to build up his custom resource, Void Energy. Using abilities builds up Void Energy, and you then consume it to enhance his abilities and make them stronger. Ajax's first ability, Orbit Barrier, creates a barrier wall in front of him that blocks incoming damage, and can even stop the most annoying of projectiles such as Deathstalker's skulls. When enhanced, it increases the damage reflected. This ability scales off of Ajax's HP and defense. His second ability is called Void Walk. Ajax leaps forward and slams the ground, dealing damage and stunning enemies. When enhanced, this ability also increases his shield and gives him shield regeneration for a time. Ajax's third ability, Expulsion, sends a 360-degree pulse out around him that deals damage and causes knockback. When enhanced, it has increased damage and range. His fourth ability is called Hypercube, and despite being called Cube, this ability creates a giant dome-shaped barrier that blocks damage. When enhanced, this also adds increased firearm attack and explosive attack to allies. And like his other barrier, this ability scales off of his HP and defense. Each ability grants Void Energy, as I said before, so just use them as needed and keep in mind where you are so you can enhance the skill you want or need when you want or need it. Your ability icons will light up blue when they're ready to be enhanced, as shown on the screen now, and the yellow bar will tell you how much Void Energy you currently have. Once the bar is maxed out, you can enhance a skill, which then consumes the entire bar. Lather, rinse, repeat. For transmods, Ajax has a few really good options, and I'll be focusing on 4 of them in this video. Void Charge, Void Explosion, Body Enhancement, and Matrix Recomputation. For mobbing, he has 2 really good choices that I dub Jumpin' Jacks and my daughter dubs Splody Jacks. Jumpin' Jacks uses Void Charge, which alters his second ability. It can now be used 2 times instead of 1 and has increased damage. When enhanced, it resets the cooldown, allowing you to spam it more often. Note that the shield increase of the base ability is removed while using this mod. This build allows you to jump around pretty much non-stop and just decimate everything in your path. It is a lot of fun. The mods for this build are Void Charge, MP Collector, Increased HP, Power Increase, Spear and Shield, MP Conversion, Nimble Fingers, Non-Attribute Amplification, Maximize Range, Maximize Conservation, and Skill Expansion. Now, Splody Jacks uses Void Explosion, which alters his third ability. It now has a stack of 2 with increased damage over its base version, but no longer has the knockback. Instead, it now increases your sub-attack by 160%. Enhancing this increases it even further to 420%. I mean, does anyone even use their sub-attacks anymore? This seems like a weird feature to add. Give some credence to the original teaser footage of the game, though, that showed Ajax wielding a giant hammer. Seems like a missed opportunity, but I digress. The mods for this build are Void Explosion, MP Collector, Increased HP, MP Conversion, skill expansion, nimble fingers, focus on tech, maximize conservation, amplification control, non-attribute amplification, and focus on non-attribute. Here is the RK tuning for those two builds, and you'll want to use the non-attribute cohesion mutant cell. For bossing, I have two builds, one that's more skill focused and another that is more firearms focused. For the skill-based build, you'll want to use body enhancement. This alters his passive ability and gives him a massive increase to max HP, defense, and max shields. It also changes all of his abilities to grant 100% void energy every time, so you can cast their enhanced versions much quicker. The trade-off for this, however, is that your abilities now have an increased cooldown and cost, so be mindful of that. The mods for this build are Body Enhancement, Biosync Shield, Psychological Victory, Maximize Conservation, Amplification Control, Increased HP, Weighing the Scales, Increased Shield, Stim Accelerant, Overwhelming Shield, and Time Distribution. You can swap out Maximize Conservation for an element protection mod like Perfect Anti-Venom or any of the other elemental mods if you want extra protection against the harder elemental fights. Here's the RK tuning for this build, and you'll want to use the Battle Suit Enhancement mutant cell. For the firearm-based build, you'll want to use Matrix Recomputation. Matrix Recomputation changes his third ability, which still deals damage to nearby enemies, only now it also grants increased defense to your allies. Using the enhanced version also increases your allies' max shields and gives them shield regeneration for a time. The mods for this build are Matrix Recomputation, Increased HP, Increased Shield, MP Conversion, Amplification Control, Overwhelming Shield, Stim Accelerant, Passionate Sponsor, Shot Focus, Maximize Conservation, and Nimble Fingers. And again, you can swap Maximize Conservation for an elemental mod if you want. Perfect Anti-Venom, Heat Release, Insulated Conductor, or Antifreeze Solution. All four of them are Almandine, so it's easy to switch between them depending on who you're fighting. And here's the RK tuning for this build. And you'll want to use the Burn Vulnerability Mutant Cell, or any elemental comparable if you're using, if you want to use it based on cold or based on toxic, etc. My weapons are all fire-based, so this. But you can change this vulnerability to whatever you need it to be if you choose to go another route. For Ajax, you'll want to use the Tech Reactor while mobbing with the Slayer external component set. For bossing, you'll want to use a Dimension Reactor with the Invader external component set. This is how I have my Inversion Reinforcement set up. For the weapons, I use the Secret Garden, the Last Dagger, and the Malevolent, sometimes the Restored Relic, though I rarely ever use anything other than my Secret Garden on Ajax, if I'm being honest. And here are the builds for those. Now, Ajax is a lot of fun to play, and his kit is quite unique. Jumpin' Jax is more fun for the most part, but Splody Jax does far more damage overall. Plus, my daughter really loves it, and every time I use it, she's always running around saying stuff like,
Ajax, go boom!
And on that note, we'll end this. Check out my other Descendant videos, and please feel free to ask any questions you may have about this build or about Ajax himself. And that's it for this video, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Later.